We're here today to explore the speech or language impairment.
Without further ado, here we go.
Before we proceed, here are the terms that you need to know. Speech, the expression of language via sounds. The oral modality for language. Language, a code used to communicate ideas via conventional systems of arbitrary signals. Impairment, the state of being diminished, weakened, or damaged, especially mentally or physically. Speech or language impairment is defined as a communication disorder, such as stuttering, impaired articulation, language impairment, or a voice impairment that adversely affects a child's educational performance. According to Individuals with Disabilities Education Act IDEA, speech and language disorder includes stuttering, impaired articulation, language impairment, voice impairment, which adversely affects a child's educational performance.
Here we have the causes of speech or language impairment. Biological causes: congenital malformations, prenatal injury, tumors, problems with nervous or muscular systems. Exposure to teratogens such as X-rays, viruses, drugs and environmental toxins. German measles or rubella. Abnormalities in respiration. Limited tongue mobility. Cleft lip or cleft palate. Craniofacial malformation. Muscle weakness. Heredity. Congenital, that means it is present at birth. Environmental causes: 1. Repeated ear infections. 2. Neglect or abuse. 3. Allergies. 4. Poverty. 5. Malnourishment. The following factors serve as the causes of speech defect. 1. Hearing loss. 2. Neurological disorders. 3. Brain injury. 4. Intellectual disabilities. 5. Drug abuse. 6. Physical impairments, cleft lip or palate. 7. Vocal abuse or misuse.
Characteristics of a child with speech and language impaired may have difficulty in 1. Sounding out words. 2. Adding prefixes or suffixes. 3. Recognizing compound words. 4. Reading comprehension. 5. Understanding figurative language. 6. Improper use of words and their meanings. 7. Inability to express ideas. 8. Inappropriate grammatical patterns. 9. Reduced vocabulary. Social and emotional characteristics. Students with speech disorders may be teased by their peers if teachers allow it, or their peers may not understand them. Students who have impairments in pragmatics may not be equipped with the social skills required to be a successful communicator with peers. Students may not be able to fully participate in conversations with peers if they cannot find the words they need to interact. Behavioral characteristics. Students who cannot effectively communicate may engage in challenging behaviors due to frustration with the inability to let their wants and needs be known. Next, we have the classifications of speech or language impairment, which I have separated into two, which would be, of course, speech and language disorders respectively. Speech disorder. This refers to difficulties producing speech sounds or problems with voice quality. It includes phonological disorder, disfluency and voice disorder. Based on the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorder, articulation or phonological disorder is characterized failure to use developmentally expected speech sounds that are appropriate for age and dialect. It also includes error in sound production, substitutions of one sound for another, omission of sounds and distorting a sound. Let's talk about them one by one. Starting with disfluency or stuttering. Disfluency or stuttering is an interruption in the normal fluency and time patterning of speech characterized by sound and syllable repetitions, prolongations, broken words. My friend here.
Friend? Just friend?
Best friend L here actually has a tendency to stutter, so she tends to repeat her words, struggling to pronounce a word.
I don't stutter.
It's okay. Voice disorder is characterized by inappropriate pitch, which are too high, Too low, monotone, interrupted by breaks, loudness which are too loud or not loud enough, and quality which are harsh, hoarse, breathy or nasal.
So, here's where my friend Kenwa comes in. He speaks in a monotone manner, hence voice disorder.
I do not.
You do.
I don't.
Moving to the language disorder. According to the American Speech Language Hearing Association, when a person cannot understand the language code, there is a receptive language disorder. The language code includes the understanding of the word meaning, making new words using prefix and suffixes, combining words to make a meaningful sentence. Furthermore, the association explains that if the person does not know enough language rules to share thoughts, ideas, and feelings, then there is expressive language disorder. Other symptoms are having limited vocabulary, making error in tense, having difficulty recalling words or producing sentences with developmentally appropriate length or complexity. Mixed receptive expressive language disorder includes all the symptoms of expressive language disorder, like difficulty in understanding words, sentences, or specific types of words such as spatial term. Language disorder may be due to environmental deprivation, emotional factors, structural abnormalities, or retardation. To summarize that, 4 major speech and language impairments. 1. Articulation, speech impairment where children produce sounds incorrectly such as L or R. 2. Fluency, child's flow of speech is disrupted by sounds, syllables, and words that are repeated, prolonged or voided, and where there may be silent blocks or inappropriate inhalation, exhalation, or phonation patterns. 3. Voice, speech impairments where the child's voice has an abnormal quality to its pitch, resonance, or loudness. 4. Language impairments is when the child has problems expressing his needs, ideas, or information, or in understanding what they hear.
I thought I caught a putty cat. I did. I caught a putty cat.
As you saw in the video, Tweety Bird has an articulation disorder. He substitutes taw for saw and putty-tat for pussycat. It is common for children to substitute letters in their speech, but it becomes a concern when they do not grow out of it.
That's all, folks.
Porky Pig has a stutter. There is an interruption of his speech when he repeats and prolongs the word "that's" in the phrase, "That's all, folks."
You're despicable.
What we have here is a lisp, which is a type of substitution. Daffy Duck substitutes the s sound in despicable with the th sound, which makes the word come out as despicable.
So, now let's talk about the learning needs. Learning needs. 1. Speech language pathologist. 2. Flashcards. 3. Worksheets. 4. Journal of Speech Pathology and Therapy. 5. Autism Open Access. 6. Journal of Phonetics Audiology. 7. Journal of Speech, Language, and Hearing Research. 8. Language, Speech, and Hearing Services in Schools. 9. International Journal of Speech Language Pathology. 10. Seminars in Speech and Language. 11. Journal of Communication Disorders.
Teaching strategies are as follows. 1. Early intervention. 2. Assistive technology/augmentative or alternative communication. 3. Evidence-based literacy instruction. 4. Social skills instruction. 5. Positive behavioral interventions and supports. 6. Increase use of visual supports. 7. Explicit instruction to teach concepts, vocabulary, rules, and skills. 8. Increase processing time. 9. Slow down rate of speech to support comprehension. 10. Use clear, concise language when giving instruction. 11. Collaboration with speech and language therapists. Well, that ends our wonderful adventure through the forest of knowledge for speech or language impairment.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Bug out.